Meeting to order.
Call meeting.
Call the meeting to order.
Call the meeting.
Okay. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful day. We thank you for the many wonderful blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Father, we ask that you would guide us and direct us in all that we may say and do in this meeting and there hereafter. Father, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. And we ask it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Someone needs to be assigned President Pro Tem.
I'll make a motion to nominate Christian.
I'll second.
You can be a one-man band tonight, Chris.
have to bear with me because I'm also taking.
We'll go slow.
Okay. Our guest, if everyone, this is Lisa from Snout. Lisa, all right. This is Lisa from Seoul.
Yeah.
She's going to discuss the cardiac monitor. That's Jeff, right? Jeff is
Correct.
from
Okay.
Country Road Policing. And then Ronnie and Eric is on the board. Dave's a board member. Greg is our county commissioner. Cole is our director. And Tammy is with the Herald Record. And we welcome you all here today. Thank you for coming, both. Thank you. And we don't have the minutes because our secretary is not here. She's making pizzas. Treasurer's report. We had deposits this month of $18,938.06. We had checks paid, $17,589.45. Our outstanding checks total $3,323.24. The P card is $1,248.34. Total outstanding checks come to $4,521.58. The balance in the checkbook right now is $52,981.11. And the total in our savings account is $3,405.29. Attached to your treasurer's report is every bill that was paid this month. So I'm not going to read them all, but they're there if you want to look at them. Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report. I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed? And we have the director's report.
Alright, for call volume for the month of June of 2014, we've done 61 transported calls to date, up from 49 of last year. For truck maintenance, 604, 605, 606 are all in service at this time. They're running well, and of course 607 is retired. Recently, just a couple days ago, I was contacted by our charting system when we do our patient care records. Our company's going under. They're in litigation with another company, and they lost the lawsuit, so they will be going under. I talked with our billing company. They're recommending that we go to a software called EOS. It's by the same company that EMS charts is made by. So it's just a sister charting, and they're going to take all the EMS charts and put it in EOS. There won't be any charge for us. So they'll come down, they'll do the training, transfer everything over for us at no cost. We've already bought this stuff. So it's through Pin Care also, so everything should be. So I get more information, I'll let you guys know. That's all I have. Last month, Josh Fletcher and I completed our BLS instructor course through RISA. We have the certificates for that from there. We're in the process right now of setting up the EMT research class, CPR class, and tentatively it's looking for August. I'm waiting for one of the instructors to get back to us. Next week we'll be starting a weekly training subject such as IB, medical assessment, trauma assessment. So every day the crews will come in, we'll have 1 hour of training in the same subject. So, and of course the crews rotate every day, so we'll have 1 hour training. So like, for example, next week we're probably going to do IB sticks, so we'll have an IB arm in here, come in, practice our IBs all week, and we'll change the subject. Right now, Jess and I are in the process of writing an orientation manual for new hires. That's nothing we've ever had before, so the process is being implemented. And as soon as we get everything regarding the classes and finalize the dates, we'll get those out to surrounding agencies that are looking for. And our new unit's expected to be here July 2nd as well. Unless something changes.
That's quick.
We're going to be in June, and we'll be in
That's good.
That's all I have.
The motion to accept the director's report.
Excuse me?
Do I have a motion to accept the director's report?
Yes, I make a motion to accept the director's report as read. Second.
All in favor? We'll hold any comments until we get to the public comment section. We're just going to go through the meeting right now. And any comments, we can hold off till public comments. Okay. Committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? No. We need to establish our committees. Hopefully we have full crew next meeting. And now, for new business, Lisa, you're up.
I'm up.
You have the floor.
Okay. Thank you for allowing me to come in. I appreciate it. Lisa Fortunato was old. Cole has asked me to come out and just kind of give you a quick overview of the X Series monitor defibrillator. It's been out for about a year and a half, maybe going on 2 years now, actually. Is anyone familiar with this particular device? No? Okay. Is there anything in particular, specifically, that you want to know about it before I kind of give you the general overview so I make sure I touch on what is most important to you?
Is this the type of device that I see them advertising, like in schools, to have them located in schools, or is this not?
No, this is an ALS device. You're thinking of an AED.
Okay.
This is an ALS device specifically really for pre-hospital ambulance and fire. Okay. So that's an excellent question. This is a much more technical device, much higher level of technology device than an AED. That our public service people would be handling an AED. That's something that you would find on the wall, right? You go out, and it tells you, you turn it on, it tells you exactly what it is that you need to do. In a sense, yes and no. So that's a great question. Okay, you guys have the E-Series monitors. Okay. This is the newest technology from Zoll, monitor defibrillator. Just give you a little bit of background. This specific device was actually asked to be developed by the military. They were looking for a device that would be able to handle high motion environment, high impact environment. So we were asked to put this device together. This device has the highest IP rating, in other words, for dust and particulates, highest drop rating. The device has been tested at 7 feet for 26 drops, 27 drops on all sides. The closest competitor is 30 inches one time drop. So it's extremely durable. About 95% or better of our special ops military carry this particular device. That means your Navy SEALs, I'm talking not just Army, but your special ops in Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. And we have about 99% of the air flight market as well. A couple of reasons for that, obviously the high motion environment, durability, and because it's less than half the size and half the weight of any other device out there. So That device was an E-Series monitor, pretty big, pretty bulky. This comes in, device itself at just over 10 pounds. Competitor's product is going to come in at, when you put the bag on it and you load it up, you're going to be about 12 pounds. Our competitors are about 24 to 26 pounds. So you figure in the pre-hospital environment, for everything that you guys are asked to carry, it's really nice to have about 12 pounds less on your back. Okay? So it's extremely durable, lightweight. It runs on a 1 battery system. It's a lithium-ion battery. Lithium-ion battery has no memory to it. Runtime is about 5 to 6 hours. That would be continuous with every conceivable parameter running, plus about 10 to 15 maximum joule shocks. So essentially, when we do evaluations within different agencies, we ask them to go ahead and just use the heck out of the battery to see how long it really lasts. And I've had organizations not have to change it for 2 to 3 days. Okay. The device comes with a AC power adapter, so that anytime the device is actually plugged in, it's charging the battery. So usually agencies will have 1 battery in, 1 battery in a spare pack, and never really have to change the battery ever if it's plugged in somewhere. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. So it's extremely durable, extremely light. Battery life is excellent. I know sometimes with some of the competitive devices, they have to carry, literally I've seen 4, 5, 6, 7 batteries with them at all times because the thing's constantly moving out. Okay, not the case with this. You guys talked about, most interesting for you, 12-lead transmissions, right?
Correct.
The device is equipped with built-in Bluetooth, USB, cell modem, and Wi-Fi. Okay, so everything's already built in here. Essentially, and what we've done is we've had an organization make for us a USB cell modem to plug into the USB port here. The cell modem gets plugged in, stays in the device, stays in the bag, turns on every time you need to transmit a 12-lead, shuts off as soon as you're done transmitting, so you don't have to worry about powering it on, powering it off, something dying, batteries dying, those types of things. If you have any type of a hotspot in a vehicle, it will shut itself off and use the hotspot so as not to use data. If you're bedside and you need to transmit a 12-lead transmission, then it uses the USB cell modem that's within the device. Okay? So it makes it extremely simple. We can transmit over the LifeNet system, Physio LifeNet system, or we can transmit over our RescueNet system, which is a cloud-based receiving system, which actually is free to the hospital and free to the agencies. Our competitor's LifeNet system, actually the hospitals have to buy equipment for that, and they pay for each transmission that goes through. We have an open network within our system that's free to anyone that uses it. It also has the capability of receiving from competitive devices. Our device has the ability to transmit through our competitive system, which is the LifeNet system. So it's completely open-ended, so you can use it in any situation, as long as the competition does not block it. Okay? So, you know, guidelines, protocols, whatnot, you want to be able to transmit 12 leads. This device is capable of doing that. Any questions on it? As far as the cell modem, by the way, the cell modems themselves run about $450 a piece, which is less than half of a competitive device that you purchase. And cell plans, based on how many transmissions that you would transmit, you're looking at $5 to $6 a month per device, which is way competitive versus $100 or $150 per device. So it's an extremely cost-effective way to, you know, stay within protocols and be able to transmit. Any questions on that?
So you have to pay, like, if they're using the device on somebody and they're transmitting it to the hospital, and then that cost would only be like $5 to $6 per month.
Per month, that's
Per month.
correct.
For however many that.
Per device, that's correct. And I have information on that. And I think when we spoke, I don't know who you guys use. Do you use AT&T, Verizon? AT&T? Okay, well that particular USB cell modem has been out already. The Verizon was just released about a week ago. Okay. So, very, very competitive prices.
Maybe I'm the only one in the room that doesn't know, but what do these devices do? I mean, what's the purpose?
Okay, that's an excellent question. No, that's absolutely fine. I kind of wanted to address the whole 12-lead thing because that's kind of the reason that we're here, because Cole wants to be able to transmit 12 leads in a manner that makes sense. Right? Okay. That's a great question. It's a monitor, cardiac monitor, it's a defibrillator. And what I will do is I will turn it on for you in a moment. Generally, when I told you this before, when I turn it on and start speaking, all you hear is womp, 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 and you're like looking at everything else. So I'm gonna tell you about it first, and then I'll turn it on so I can have your full attention, okay? All right, we talked about the battery, we talked about how small and light and whatnot it is. Essentially, it's got the buttons on the side here to move around the device, move around the screen. It's got a home button, it's got an alarm off button. It's got a snapshot button, which is really nice because the snapshot button, and you can kind of attest more to this. You know, you see maybe a normal sinus rhythm on the screen, all of a sudden you see something weird. And generally, medic's gonna try to hurry up and capture that to show the emergency department, look, there was something going on, but by the time they get to a button to print it, it's gone, okay? Essentially, what the snapshot button it does is you see something, everything's great, you see something weird, it goes away, you can very casually come over and press the snapshot button. What that's going to do is give you 12 seconds prior, 12 seconds post, gives you a nice 24-second snapshot, so you're never gonna miss something for the ED doc. When you're saying, I'm telling you, the guy went into the fifth or something weird and came back. Okay, so it's kind of like they safety boat, which is really, really nice. We have nice little icons on here for ease of use. You know, the blood pressure cuff on the arm tells you that's how you take the blood pressure. This is your energy piece right here. This is where you're going to deliver a shock or do your pacing for your patient, okay, for therapy. And this over here, these are your soft keys, and all the menus behind these are programmable, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay. So now I can turn the device on. Printer's on the side. And it's going to give you a little test, and it's going to say that it's passed.
Clear.
Right now, I had a trainer demo this. They wanted to see it start up in AED mode, which you can do. Generally, people just have it start up in manual mode.
Advised. Perform CPR.
So, there we go. Let's see. One of the most important things for a device like this, because it is markedly different than something here, right? The most important things really, I think, is ease of use, right? So you don't have a big learning curve for your staff to be able to use it. Essentially, when you put the pulse ox on the patient's finger, all right, put the blood pressure cuff on, all you have to do is hit the blood pressure button, and all of a sudden you're going to have 5 parameters. Generally, the 5 things that you're going to do 95% of the time. You're going to want an SpO2, you're going to want blood pressure, you're going to want your CO possibly, you're going to want respiration, you're going to want some different parameters. With one button press, you're going to be able to get all those. So it's very easy to use. I'll go ahead and demonstrate very quickly. Can I put this on someone's finger? Who wants to? You know you're close. You knew I was going there, right? Okay, good. Put it right in there. There you go. It's in there. Okay. So it's going to go ahead. It's going to give us some information here. This is off because I want to talk for a moment about the blood pressure, and I can show that for a minute. But this is going to start taking her. There we go. Get some question marks. There we go. 3. Okay. Now, the home button is going to give you this screen, and you can insert 4 screens in here, or 4 leads in here. And now they've made it so that you can choose which 4 leads that come up, which is a really nice feature. Okay. But home screen's going to also give you your trends report. It's going to give you a nice big, hello, going to give you some nice big numbers. Okay. Which paramedics really like at 2 o'clock in the morning when it's tough to see and, you know. Okay. It's nice and color coded, very easy to read, very easy to use. Which is good. Okay. Talk about blood pressure for a minute, and I'm not going to take you through the rigors, I don't think, unless you'd like me to, showing you how to do blood pressure. I just want to give you guys the overview of this. We have state-of-the-art monitoring within the device. Welch Allen's blood pressure. Welch Allen is the gold standard with blood pressure. You're going to find it almost every hospital with quick connect cuff system here. So you can go small, medium, large, whatnot. Very, very simple, right at the cuff as opposed to down to here. And it has a dual lumen hose. The nice thing about the dual lumen hose, it can catch, 80% of the time, it's going to catch a blood pressure on the way up, meaning it's not going to have to fully inflate and squeeze your patient's arm. You know, 80-year-old woman who, you know, ouch, this hurts, starts moving, you're going to get an accurate blood pressure. It's going to catch it on the way up in about 15 seconds or under, which I think you can agree is a huge benefit, right?
It takes about 30, 45 seconds if not longer.
Right.
If they take it all.
Exactly. So, big benefit there. And if for some reason patient's moving, a lot of artifact, whatnot, it's going to catch the blood pressure. It will inflate all the way if necessary and catch the blood pressure on the way down with the second tube. It's going to sink an R wave, actually, to the patient's leads. So it's going to get it one way or the other, and it's going to get it accurate. Okay, so it's a state-of-the-art blood pressure system. We have Iridium microstream entitled CO2. We've got Massimo technology here for the pulse oximetry. Oh, let's see. Talk about the snapshot button, talk about the blood pressure. 12 leads, very easy to take a 12 lead. Turn this on so just you can see what it looks like. That's my balance. So 12 means 12 leads. It's going to show you all 12 leads on screen. You see that? Okay. It is really neat, and the nice thing about this, which competitors don't have, and I don't believe this one has, these are diagnostic views. So whenever your medics need to take a 12 lead, whenever the medics need to take a 12 lead, generally what happens is you press a 12 lead button, you wait for it to print out, and all of a sudden, oh man, a lead fell off, patient moved, something's not right, you can't use it. It takes a minute or 2. They got to reacquire 12 lead. You know, they're trying to get this done so they can get it to the hospital, transmit it to the hospital, so that they can get ready for the patient, read it, and say, yeah, we're going straight to cath lab. It can mean like that, truly. This is diagnostic view, so what you see is what you get on your printout, all right? So if you happen to acquire 12 lead, which is the little acquire button here, and it's acquiring a 12 lead, and all of a sudden the lead comes off. You can automatically press the stop button and reacquire your 12 lead because you know something went wrong and you want to do it again. That's saving you minutes in time, which are crucial for the patient. Right? So we're acquiring a 12 lead right now. So I can actually read them still not with my cheeks. Thank you. Okay. It's going to give you some information here about the patient, some demographics. It's going to show you 4 pictures of a 12 lead. Most devices, all other devices really, in a 10-second period of time, give you one 12 lead snapshot. Our device gives you a snapshot every 2.5 seconds. So essentially it's going to give you 4 snapshots so that you are most likely going to be able to have something that you're going to be able to use to be able to get to that camera. Okay? And then just to transmit, you're going to hit there's a little like you got mail button right here. Looks like an envelope. All you do is hit the envelope, choose your hospital, and you hit submit, and it goes. It's very, very simple. Very simple. Any questions on that? I kind of hit that hard because I know that's the thing that was real important.
So therefore, then if somebody's got like a blockage or something, okay, then from what I was listening to you talk about before, with that machine, they're not going to open up the cath lab because it doesn't do that, but your machine does.
This machine is going to be able to transmit exactly what you saw on this screen to the cath lab. It'll go to their computer, it can go to their fax machine, it can go to the doctor's personal cell phone if you have a cardiologist that's on the golf course. You know, it'll go anywhere that it can be programmed to go to, so they can make a determination. Absolutely, you got to get this patient to the cath lab immediately. They bypass the ED district and save it. Which is really state of the art, which is really what everything is moving to now. It's, you know, city hospitals. I mean, it's just something that is protocol that they need to be able to do to get to the cath lab. So, what's next question? Yes. So to exit the 12 lead, just hit exit 12 lead. Go back home. It has, you know, you can insert whatever leads you want. You want your DCAA, you know, you just hit that button. It has med markers here. They give a patient a med. This is pre-programmed in here. So all they have to do is go to the little RX symbol and punch and just hit the button across from what it is they programmed as their meds. Okay? So this way, that stamps it on their printout. So the doctor knows that it's all in here, because the call's recorded from the time this is turned on to the time it's shut off, period. So it's recorded so they know what was administered at what time, you know, everything. Okay? Let's see if there's anything else. Lovely, synchronization. This is for really bright summer days when you're trying to look and the sun's glaring into the monitor and they can't see and they look like the football ref trying to look at the play. That's what this is. Makes it very easy to read in sunlight, right? Kind of thought everything. And this particular device is equipped with not just NIVP, which is your non-invasive blood pressure, your cuff, also internal blood pressures and temperature monitoring, internal temperature monitoring. So this is essentially the type of device with those types of things that we sell to the flight crews. You know, your stat medevac, children's transport, those types of things. Okay?
That takes
Oh yeah. Thank you. It's going to yell at me and then I'll hit the most important button, which is the alarm off button, right? Oh, okay, so, and then we just got the log and we've got the settings, or the supervisor settings and whatnot. Really, two other things I just wanted to show you that really can set this device apart is, you know, you use these buttons here to scroll around. You see the bright blue that's going around there? You can see that? Okay. I put it on adult here. If you choose adult by hitting the enter button, then now you have the choice of pediatric and neonate. What's really nice about this for the medics is say they choose pediatric and hit enter. Now every parameter, all of your alarms, all your settings for your shock, everything is now to pediatric. So they're not having to calculate things on a glove, figure out what do they need to do, what do they need to give, everything, and same for neonate. So it's with the press of a button, the entire device becomes a pediatric device or neonatal device. Okay? And then the other thing I wanted to show you was the CPR feedback. Let's put this back in adult. you don't mind, because CPR feedback. Our device is the only device that has CPR feedback built into the actual defibrillator pads. So that means that they're always with the paramedic. They don't have an extra piece of equipment to have to carry with them, to have to replace batteries, to have to disinfect, to have to clean, or to have to replace. It comes with the pads, okay? When they're done using the CPR feedback pads, all they do, rip them off and throw them away, which is a really nice feature, all right? What this is gonna do, the AHA is saying that, CPR feedback saves lives. In other words, knowing whether or not you're going the right depth, the right rate, you have the right perfusion, the right release. Coaching the person, whether it's ALS or BLS, doing the CPR, coaching them makes a huge difference. The studies are showing that. Right now, UPMC, the Broad study, showing this type of feedback is literally saving lives, and people are walking out of the hospital cognitively intact, okay, because of the CPR that's being given. The reason for that is CPR feedback. So this device has it built into the pad, so you never forget to bring it in for cardiac arrest in a patient's home or out in the field or wherever you're going to be, right? And essentially, can you help me out with this? You want to go ahead and maybe start doing some CPR? Let me give you the hard job. And I'll explain to them what they're looking at. What's that? This one? Oh. You know what? I just had this on for a show forever, so you're gonna have to hold on for 1 second, because I have thanks for telling me. I have a cord in my car, because it does come with AC power. I'll be right back. I had no one put all over the shows.
Going to have to see if we plug into. And I can unplug.
I was out all day, 80 degrees, pretty comfortable.
Cold.
Yes.
I went ahead and unplugged.
Okay, I have this. Go ahead.
So she can plug in.
I think it's a 3-prong. It's a 3-prong.
Oh man, is that going to be hard out on the road?
Our trucks are 3-prong.
This is really long. All right. Hold it on. Okay. So. We're good.
Ready?
Yeah, come on, just that. So you guys can see this. So after about the first couple of seconds, he's going to start to show you a couple of different ways how his CPR is going. You're gonna see bars for depth. You're also gonna see numbers, and you're gonna see colors. So green is good. It's gonna tell you how many inches you're going, how many compressions per minute. This is your release. Your release is telling you whether or not you're physically coming off the chest, because you should be able to put like a card underneath of it, right? For recoil. And this is your perfusion. In other words, how much the heart is filled with blood. And the more the heart is filled with blood, the better the patient receives a shock. Now, green is good. The bars are great. These are completely full. So if you have a BLS, basic life support person there just doing, compressions, you can just say, your job is to do nothing more than keep these full. If they're doing that, patient's great. Now, if you slow down, metronome kicks in, saying, hey, you gotta step it up. Nice thing about this device, you gotta step it up. Nice thing about this device is it shuts up as soon as you're doing good. And if you're not pushing hard enough, it's gonna tell him to push harder. And then when he pushes harder,
Does it tell you if you're pushing too hard?
well, you know what it's going to do if you're pushing too hard. You're going to see the inches. You're going to see like 4 inches. You want to go about 2 to 2.5 inches. See, your rate's too slow. Depth is questionable. See that your release isn't very good. So essentially, that's good. I give you a hard time. You're sweating, I am. How do you go get that cord?
You normally just push drugs. Here's your CPR.
So essentially, this CPR dashboard is going to give you feedback in all areas more than any other device out there, and it's always with the medic. So you don't have to worry about forgetting it. You've got a patient cardiac arrest, you're like, oh man, I don't have my POC. POC is actually an accelerometer, kind of like how you have on your cell phone. You know how you move your cell phone like this way and the screen moves, you move this way and the screen, same kind of thing. Lastly, what this device will do that no other technology has is it'll give you see-through CPR. So it can filter out the artifact from compressions and show you a patient's underlying rhythm. So, if you're looking at this, and you're doing compressions, it's going to look weird because you're doing compressions on a patient. Truly, what's going on underneath of that? This will give you the patient's underlying rhythm. What does that mean? That means that if you're going to have to shock your patient, generally what happens, you have to come off the chest, you have to look at the rhythm, determine if it's shockable. If it is, you're going to charge it, set it, you're going to shock. That takes some time, right? You already know pretty much what you're going to be looking at. You're doing compressions, you can see it's a shockable rhythm. You're charging while you're doing compressions, off the chest, shock, right back on. AHA says, what, under 10 seconds. You should be under 10 seconds off the chest for CPR. We've timed it during demos to be with the underlying rhythm showing 2 seconds or less from shock to back on the chest, because you already know what that underlying rhythm is doing, which is an unbelievable advantage.
Seconds,
They do. Seconds truly do mean everything. Yes. So,
The machine's going to tell you too, that, right? Whether you need to shock them or not.
you're gonna, well, it can.
It can,
Yeah.
It's
but we interpret that, like, as paramedics, we manually interpret that monitor. Because if it has to analyze itself, that takes extra time. As paramedics, we are trained to analyze that rhythm rather than so we can just look at it and be like, okay.
They're doing compressions and they're looking and they're saying, you know what, that's a shockable rhythm. You're gonna come off the chest, verify it for a second or two. That's exactly what it is. Hit the shock button, right back on the chest.
So normally now we're doing compressions, we say stop CPR. I have to look at the monitor and see that. and determine if it's shockable or not. Normally, if it's shockable, we've done wasted 3 seconds between it over it. And the machine has to charge, and then it shocks. So there's 10 seconds. We were back in the chest. Whereas now we don't have to stop until we actually have to shock.
The national average, I believe they've said, for time off the chest to shock the patient, from the time you're doing CPR to be able to shock to get back on, is over 27 seconds, I think. Which, you've lost all the perfusion in that heart. All the blood that you've got going, you're priming a pump essentially, you've lost it all. That's why, remember, I don't know if you guys remember, if you've ever learned CPR, you were initially taught years ago, I was like in junior high school, breaths. How many, compression and then breath. Right? They don't even want you to do breaths anymore. Because for all that perfusion you did doing compressions, by the time you came off the chest, gave the patient, 3 breaths? Something like that? 2 breaths, is that what it was? I don't remember, it was junior high. And you get back on, you've just lost all that blood in the heart. So you're essentially getting nowhere with these patients. So now they're saying, you don't even do breaths. It's nothing but on the chest, hands-on compressions with as minuscule time as possible from shock to back on the chest again. See through CPR allows you to do that.
They don't even allow us anymore as paramedics to interrupt compressions to put airway in. We have to put an airway in while we do compressions before we would stop. Now we just while we do compressions.
It seemed like everything else was more important and compressions were last. Now,
It used to be airway. Airway. And now that when science came around, it's all about compressions.
yeah.
Airway is secondary. Because the theory is you have oxygen still in the blood. So if you're circulating it, your body's still getting oxygen.
And by virtue of the fact also that I've heard is when you're doing compressions, when you come off, your body actually takes in oxygen as you're doing compressions. So, yeah. Any questions at all on the device?
What's it come
Standard
standard?
is going to come with the device, the battery, the bag, the AC power, the actual configuration. Oh, and it comes with like the blood pressure cuffs and all the tuning and that kind of thing. You order the pads, and the configuration depends on what it is that you need. So, like I said, flight would have the IVP, the internal blood pressure, and the temp. You guys would be doing that. You're going to want this CPR feedback. Sometimes when people have the mechanical CPR devices, they deploy like an auto pulse every single time. Sometimes they don't want it with the CPR feedback because they're not doing it, the device is doing it, okay? Whether or not you want CO, carbon monoxide monitoring. A lot of fire departments like that for their guys, right? Depends on whether or not that's something you want. The basic configuration, you're going to want like your end-tidal CO2, you're going to want your pulse oximetry, your NIBP, which is your non-invasive blood pressure through the cuff. You wouldn't need SP-MET. I don't know if you would want CO or not. No. Okay. So I mean, come standard with the basic stuff to be able to use it out of the box. The configuration is completely up to each agency based on their needs.
Is it compatible with DC also?
Well, our ambulances have the inverters.
You have AC power.
Yeah, we have this 3
Is that a 3-prong or a 2-prong?
It's a 3-prong.
So if you go into somebody's home, it better be battery.
Yeah.
Because the ambulance is okay with it, but
Well, if
in-home, they may not have the 3-prong.
Well, if they keep it plugged in all the time, you'll never change that battery.
When our trucks are in station, they're plugged in to the walls. So the inverter's always on. It's always charging the cardiac monitor while our trucks are in the bay. So from the moment they pull in, constantly they're charged 20%. Because when they're on the road, they're running for charging. When they're here, they pull in.
They'd want to keep an extra battery in there just in case. The the end of the day, the reason that battery went out, literally, I mean, I haven't changed, I don't even keep an extra battery on me because I never have to change it. You know, I'll plug it in for an hour or two and then I'm good to go. And I literally used that for 2 shows up in Cleveland for 3 days each. Never changed my battery. The thing was on all day. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't shock anybody. So I didn't, you know, so it's not drawing a lot of power. One other nice thing about this, the batteries recondition themselves. I don't know if I mentioned that to you. They have indicators as far as how much power is in them, and they recondition themselves automatically, whereas other devices, usually you have to go through a whole reconditioning process. These take care of themselves completely right in their chargers. Any other questions?
How much?
I don't know how much time I was allowed. I apologize if I took too much.
Tell the other board members how much.
Depending on the price that I can get for a trade, you're looking at, with a trade, somewhere around, I would say, $29,000, which is comparable to competitive monitors, but with a heck of a lot more in it, because they don't have the features per unit. And I think what would be a better idea is if you gave me an idea of what it is you actually wanted it, and I would be able to do some sort of quote with a trade in it to really get down to truly what it is. Because, you know, it's kind of shot in the dark for me because I don't know what parameters specifically.
You said Zoll works with each agency to finance everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's different things that we do with regard to financing. We're very creative to make sure our customers get what they need. I'm doing a deal now where they want 12 monitor deal. They're going to put 50% down and 50% in 12 months interest free. So they're floating that money interest free for 12 months. Okay. I've got another one that they're doing 33, 33, and 33. So we ship them all their monitors. They put 33% down. They pay 33% their next fiscal year, and then 33% the following fiscal year. So it's essentially 3 payments, but that would be with interest attached because it's like 2.5 years, depending on when your fiscal year is how that works. So I mean, there's everything in between. Just the key to it is to be able to get the devices that you need when you need them, and then if you want to pay it over time, you can do that. If you want to do it interest-free, you can do that. If you want to do it with interest for a longer period of time, you can do that. We work with our customers.
We have 2 trucks on the road primarily each day, so right off the bat, it would be one for each unit. We offer 5 cardiac monitors of those that we may use to
And we can take 1 trade per device. So for a trade, for an E-Series, I mean, I don't know, we might be able to give you between $3,500 and $5,000 for a trade, depending on what it's loaded with. So, you know, the monitor itself, like list price, you're looking at probably around $28,000 to $30,000 with the trade. Again, depending on the configuration, so I'm just ballparking it here. So a lot of people like the 33% because they're getting their monitors that they need, whether it's 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever. They get the monitors they need, they pay for it 3 payments over a period of years. Some people would prefer to, like for the 1 monitor, for the 12 monitor deal, it's saving them like $11,000 and do 50%, they go 50% interest free for 12 months instead of going 3 years of interest.
Lisa, could I ask you a question? What's the life expectancy for a unit like that?
Life expectancy, you know, that, and thank you, I'm glad you brought that up. This device is a computer, and it's upgradable. About every 3 months, we send upgrades, which are free, by the way. And generally what happens is, because it has the USB port, you send a little thumb drive, you stick it in, and it upgrades the device with all the newer upgrades and technologies, right? So it's extremely expandable. Usually, you see devices last, you know, rule of thumb is between every 6 to 8 years. agencies get new devices. How long have you had those?
Those are, well, we've had these for 4 years. We bought them new, so I think that model is 8 or 10 years.
8 or 10 years old. We still support our M series, which was before this, that's probably close to 15 years old. We still support that, and we still support the ones before that that were like, what do they call, 1200 to 1000, so I don't even know if it's wrong selling. But we support monitors that are 20, 25 years old as a company does. I can tell you that our competitors don't. Because right now, I have a competitor that has one particular device that came out, I don't know, probably 6 or 8 years ago, and they're stopping support for that device to push everybody to the new device, which has no upgrade benefit, it just has a color case. So, yeah, so, and it's more money. It's crazy. But my point is the significant difference between this and that calls for, you know, there's an upgrade, a technology upgrade difference between this. It's not just three things. Okay. So the answer to your question about the life expectancy, you know, because it's expandable, because it's a computer, and because we support our devices for ever, it seems like. It just depends on when it is you would want to need one. It's not a matter of we just want you to spend more money, so we're not going to support you.
I guess my question is, we all know you buy a computer today and tomorrow it's outdated.
Absolutely right.
Is this different?
Like I said, it's completely upgradable as it is every 3 months what we do. Like for example,
I wondered if that's what you were referring to.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm referring to, and it's a great question. Example, I said to you earlier today, they just released an upgrade for you to be able to choose which leads you want to show in your 4 spaces, right? Before it didn't do that. It always came up lead 2, 3, yeah, thank you very much. Well, what we do is we talk to our customers and we say, you know, what is it you would like to see? What don't you want to see? We make those changes internally within our IT department, and we release those upgrades. So that is now available. So now everything shipped will be able to have that upgrade. Plus, anyone that has these will just download that with the thumb drive and have all of the upgrade. So that's how we can expand this device without having to have our customers purchase something new. We're not going to have a new device for this unless something ridiculous groundbreaking. Because this is light years ahead of anything else that's out there now.
Oh, isn't that like obsolete or something? What was it? The old one, the one you had with somebody, I can't remember. But I mean, actually, this is, they recommend, the EMS recommends this, right?
Right. And our big concern is 12-week transmission. That's our big concern. So, so I can get that 12-week transmission to the hospital because I can call in and say, yeah, he's having a spinning, he's having a heart attack, but we don't want to just activate the cat cloud for $11,000 and think, oh my word, maybe someone from Parkersburg or wherever is spraying it. So they want to see it. So we would, like, you know, bring that doctor in, that cat cloud is going to cost a lot of money because they have to be on call. So when they can see that, they can activate that cat cloud and they can have them there when they arrive.
What this device does, what you saw on that 12-lead screen, transmits that photograph in a strip to anything that is programmed in either at the hospital or in here. So you might say, when you transmit most to?
The hospital we go to most is UHC, but we'd also transmit to medical connect. Those are people we ask for permission to give certain drugs or do certain procedures. There are certain things we can do without permission, but we need permission to do other things. So we would transmit that to them also, and then they can look at it. That's actually located in Ruby. There's some doctors and paramedics just in that room. That's all it is. Monitor EMS.
So behind that, that's the facility that can be programmed in there, any amount of facilities can be programmed in. They pick that, and behind that is any and all of the numbers or email addresses that it needs to go to. So it might go to the cardiologist, the cath lab, the ED, and a computer somewhere. It depends on where the hospital wants it to go, where you guys want it to go, because you make groups of who it is that goes to. So everybody gets to see it within seconds, and they can say, okay, call the doc, this guy's coming in. And they prepare the cath lab, they can bypass the ED, and go straight to the cath lab, and the patient gets in. I'm sorry.
Okay, now from whenever you're talking about upgrading, what size of a memory does this have in it? You're talking about bringing upgrading program. You're not upgrading hardware, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
When you upgrade, after a certain point in time, will there be a cost associated with upgrading and making sure, overseeing the life pack here? Or whatever?
The X series. There is no cost for any upgrades.
Okay, no
Never-
cost
never
for y'all
has
to come over and check it out and all that stuff and make sure everything works?
You mean, are you talking about?
A maintenance program.
Maintenance? Okay, preventative maintenance is different than an upgrade. An upgrade is an upgrade in the technology, in the computer software, and how it
So,
works.
and you don't
So
know
the
how
upgrades,
big the memory is?
I don't know exactly how big it is, but I mean, we do upgrades probably every 3 months. We will ship the new out to better the patient care. As
Okay.
far as preventative maintenance, that's different. There's a 1-year warranty on the device. Okay. And then after that, you would have some sort of a preventative maintenance plan that you might want to purchase. So, and I'm not the person that actually handles that, but I have a preventative warranty and PM department that you work with that determines, like, if you purchase a maintenance plan on it for after the first year, when you buy them, it's cheaper than buying it after the first year. But a lot of times, organizations already have budgeted monies for their maintenance plans, so they just wait for that first year and then use, so there's no additional cost, if that makes sense.
Okay, one last question. Do you guarantee transmission through the internet, through your Wi-Fi, or through whatever your little thing's using to get through on whatever service?
And that's a great question. I think I can answer that even though I'm not the IT person. I can tell you from sitting in enough of these 12-lead transmission demo type things. We have to be guaranteed through the service that we go through, we use in the cloud, we have to be guaranteed by them 99.9% up time. The only time it's down is going to be for maybe like, I forget what they said.
No, I'm talking about like your cell phone connection. Do you guarantee that that modem is strong enough that you're going to be able to get through these
Oh, I
fields
see what
and
you're
stuff?
saying. I thought you were wondering about the
No.
12-lead transmission in the cloud.
No.
Because
No.
that we're guaranteed of that service. It's a cell capability.
Cell-based.
It's cell-based. So as good as your AT&T is here, there's no magic that goes on here. It's a USB cell modem. So essentially, it's going to be whatever your cell phone capability is. There's nothing magical here. It's a USB cell modem, just like your cell phone. Difference is, it's with it all the time. It transmits through it, and it's a less expensive way to do it. Turns on and off. But if you are in an area where your cell phone's not working and you know it's dead, I can't guarantee that because there's no magic in that. It uses the same towers as everybody else does. It's all Wi-Fi, USB cell modem, all of that is all using the same towers, the same everything.
These also hook up to the landline. Like the older ones have it's the landline phone cable comes out.
No,
like
there is no
your-
land.
If you have Wi-Fi but you don't have cell service at your house, will the Wi-Fi take care of that?
It should.
Yeah, it has Wi-Fi capability, yes.
So like if somebody didn't have cell service like me, but we have Wi-Fi, then it works.
Well, Wi-Fi,
I'm not, that kind of,
No, I understand it, and again, I'm not a data guru, but what I'm told is that Wi-Fi, USB cell modem, Bluetooth, all of that is all over the same network. So, it's just a different method of getting it from one place to another, whether it's the USB, which plugs in, or Wi-Fi, which is like a little antenna in there. It's all gonna go to the same network.
So we purchased 2 of those. We're out. It was a deal. How long would we have to go to?
Great question. If you call us at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Nicole says, you know what, there's something wrong with this monitor, it's not this, that, or the other thing. We have one shipped out to you by 8 a.m. the next morning that you would be able to have configured exactly like this, because what this device has is a, put the thumb drive in there and it'll copy all of the configuration from this one to the one that's working to the one that's maybe broken. Just stick that in there and you upload those configurations. So within seconds, it's configured exactly as your other one. You take that other one and ship it back. So you will have it by 8 a.m. the next morning, which I can tell you, 2 things I want to tell you about that. First of all, if you call for service, chances are you're not going to get somebody by 8 a.m. the next morning with a brand new monitor ready to use. Second of all, we don't believe in cracking open a case, in your kitchen to fix it. This is a very, it's a very high level device, and it's done in a controlled environment to make sure, it's a life-saving device. And it's, I know a lot of places will have, a service guy come in and literally crack it open on a workbench and try to fix it. We don't do that. We do it in a controlled environment within Zoll.
I think one interesting thing too that you mentioned last time was how they're made. They're not going to just go down a factory line.
Yes. These devices are not lot tested. In other words, if there's 100 of them made, we don't pull one out of that lot and test it. Every single device that comes off of our line goes through the process. It goes like a shake and bake. It goes into these things that look like ovens that they go up to 180 degrees. They go into a deep freeze. They get dropped. They're all hooked up to their own special computer. It was neat because when I was hired, I got to see them being made at our corporate office on the ground level. They have these huge, 2 of them probably take up this whole room. And these things go in there with a port, and they're all hooked up to a computer on the outside, and they go through every single one of them goes through the test. And when they're done, they have to read them out. If they don't pass, they pull them, and they see what's the matter, and they don't go out. Our competitors lot test, so they'll take 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 50 or whatever that lot is, and they test it and see if it's okay. Every single device off the line is tested the exact same way, with the printout exactly how it passed. You guys got great questions. Anything else?
The only thing I really want to make clear is right now with our monitors, it's a state mandate that we be able to transmit, and we're not compliant with that. So that's why we need that to upgrade things.
Can I ask why you're not transmitting?
Because the monitors aren't upgradable to that.
But wasn't that the state mandate whenever the AA was set up?
We came in after that.
With paddles. questions, would you just contact him? Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I hope it was informative. If you guys have questions, feel free. Be happy to get you a quote specific to what it is, the configuration you'd be interested in. All right? Thanks. Now, do you want me to get my stuff out of here, or do you want me to just sit quiet while you do the rest of the meeting? I don't really care. I just don't want to be disruptive because I took a lot of time. I'll shut her off. How's that?
Jeff Snell is from Country Roads Leasing, where we have the lease agreement, and he was gonna come in and explain everything, because none of us really understand the whole thing. Because I know, the lease agreement went, I wasn't on the board then, the lease agreement went to you, right, but then it's West Union Bank owns the loan. It's kind of confusing.
My company's Country Roads Leasing, and we provide municipal equipment lease purchase financing. We work with cities, counties, volunteer fire departments, EMS, ambulance authorities, schools, etc. We basically do lease purchase financing so that at the end of the term, you have ownership of that equipment. Precisely why I was asking Lisa how long a life expectancy was for that. We might be able to finance that on a little longer term, make it more manageable for the department. The way it works is we enter into an agreement, and since you're a government agency under the county commission, we enter into a master lease agreement, and then I assign my rights and responsibilities off to that funding source, which when you all were created was West Union Bank that stepped up and said we're going to assist and help get this authority started, and they were the ones that supplied the funds for the projects. Future projects, ambulances, defibrillators, monitors, any sort of tangible stuff that can be lease purchase finance. We're out of Bridgeport, Harrison County. We try to keep everything local as possible. That's why we like using West Union Bank for anything in Rockbridge County and Harrison County as well. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
The bank didn't really have an answer for us either. We were like really confused about the whole master lease agreement. Why it was West Union and Country Roads, and we were trying to understand. They're like, well,
Anybody, you have the authority, I believe, under your charter to go out and borrow money. Using a municipal lease allows it to be tax exempt. The process that we use, using the county commission as a government agency, allows the bank to benefit from the interest that they earn on the note. They can write it off, it's not taxable. Because of that benefit, we're able to give you a much more favorable rate than if you walked across the street to your local bank and said, I want to buy 2 ambulances at $200,000. It might be 6 or 7%. We're still in the ballpark of 3.5% to 4% on your typical 5-year lease agreements. So you save in terms of the interest cost over the term. There's no prepayment penalty, so that if you have a windfall, you can pay it off early. You also have ownership. You don't have to trade it in and get something new in 3 years. You can run it till you need to replace it.
I got a question though. We don't have the title to the trucks, right? They're locked. So if we wanted to trade them, we can't trade them. Am I right?
Well, yeah, the bank still has the security interest in that, and they still have the titles. At a certain point, you could probably look at your principal balance and determine or not determine whether there's been enough paid down on that note to release the lien on that title, and therefore you could use it to trade in on something else.
That's what I was wondering, if we had enough, equity in the loan, right? Isn't that what I said?
Yeah.
If we had enough equity in the loan then they would, like, we could,
You drop
get
it
the
off.
te- yeah, we
you
could
take
get-
it out.
take it out, and we could do that with the cardiac monitors too. Right, they're on the loan too. We could do that with the cardiac monitors. Okay, that was something, you know, 'cause we're like, we need trucks and we need cardiac monitors when everything was tied up in the loan, and West Union couldn't answer. You just gave me the answer that,
We've been looking for it for months.
yeah,
Sorry. We've been looking for this answer for months.
yes.
Sorry. Yeah, and it really just comes down to dollars and cents, whether there's enough assets still within that lease agreement. If you have, one ambulance at $115,000 or something, there may still be enough equity or asset value in there for them to release the other equipment.
So we have to go to the bank to find out that, right? Or
If I can find that out for
you
you.
can find, okay. That would be great to see if we had enough in the monitors.
Can they borrow your wallet?
Actually, it is a clinical device.
If you want to leave it for like a month, you wouldn't want to.
Sure I am.
Do they get a free trial period? So then you could answer that, you could find out for us and see how much,
We can figure out how much you have left on
yeah, and then just give Cole a call.
Can do that. What did you guys do with the ambulance that's coming July 2nd?
We purchased that through the money the commission gave us for
That might be a nice tangible asset that you could offer up as collateral if you need it.
What would we pay for it?
If the title's free and clear, you pay cash for it. The bank will take, obviously, the first lien position on that title. Then that frees up X number of dollars to be able to get some additional equipment, maybe to outfit that. That 70,000 might go a little bit further, if we spread out that 3 or 4 year period instead of 70,000 $70,000 a year would be higher runs.
You just answered the question I'm looking for.
I'll try to get Cole some payoff information this week.
That'd be great.
Guys, any questions?
I'd like to read
I got clarification.
That's awesome. Because I get a lot of questions.
Where are you from?
I'm from Kansas.
Richmond. So you have West Virginia, Ohio,
I
Pennsylvania.
have like Cleveland area, and I have Pennsylvania, like the western half of the state. And then that'll go, and I have this in western. I gotta know.
Good lady. Get the right place. Great. Thanks, Gil.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll shoot you an email this week.
Thanks. Be in touch.
You leaving? I'm leaving. Okay. I should probably leave too.
Are you leaving?
I'm gonna report in on the rest of your meeting. No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep this? Thank you. Yeah, I do my, I hide card out. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for coming.
Sure.
Really appreciate it.
I'll carry this.
That's all right. She's very trusting, isn't she?
Meet you guys down back.
How fast can you?
How much, yeah, how much you pay him to do that?
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you for the coffee.
You're very welcome.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Be safe.
Vice Chair.
No, that's all.
Next is personnel. I need a motion to go in executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Trouble now.
Yeah, this is a lot. Anyway.
Said it's been a long time since lunch. Agree.
I make a motion we come back from executive session. There was no action taken on our executive session. The next thing is commission reports. Any commission requests?
Not at this time.
911 central reports. Okay, public comments.
Thank you. Public comment. Thank you. For the thing that you gave me.
Oh.
The answer. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to get across.
You are very welcome.
Yeah, I said that, but I'm writing. Is there any public comments? No? Okay. Then make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Did Barbara ever get back to you about this minutes?
She said that she was looking and she couldn't find it. Her computer crashed.
Yeah, I
And
can
she
remember.
said that she thinks that that might have been.
It was before, probably, before her computer crashed, because it was early on.
She got a copy of her audit, didn't you?
No,
The state audit?
no,
You can get that? I thought they gave that to you.
no, that's, thank you.
That's the state audit. That's not the whole, that's just the preliminary, because then we get a big book. You know, but that may be 6 months from now that we get the book, but he came and did the exit interview and he said, they told me I had to come, everything's fine. Which I was really glad because I've never done, I've done plenty of nursing home audits, but I never did a state audit. Which that was a whole lot easier than a nursing home one. Because the nursing home ones, they sit there and, if you ever try to categorize a woman with another woman standing over your shoulder watching you do it, it's like, but that's what you had to do.
Is this bathroom?
Yes, well, yeah, unless somebody, if not, there's one right here.
There's one right here.
Isn't it?
Had to do several.
Like I said, I don't know much about that stuff now. Chris probably knows.
It's fun. I just thought that was the neatest thing.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
It's the neatest thing when all those little lights were going on and everything. Wow. I mean, you know, we had, when I did EKGs, it was when you had to stand there and you had to go ding, 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 so that you could switch from one lead to the other, and you had to go ding, 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 switch from one lead to the other. And it's, God leaves me healthy, I'm going to end up nursing my husband. Eventually, I think I'll end up nursing him. Yeah, he has Parkinson's. So, but he's doing fine now. I mean, he's fine now. He golfs.
Still playing golf.
But he still will not forgive me for giving the bike to Dwayne. And I said, 3 doctors told you you could not ride your bike. That is just.
My daughter, my best friend,